Alright everybody, welcome to another update. It's been quite a while, but I am finally back. I was quite busy and I was away, but now I'm finally here with these new updates. You might hear some cars in the background and everything. I'm just keeping the window open for some ventilation in here. Quite warm in here. But we have a lot of systems out there at the moment to track, and I'll be focusing mostly on the developed systems that are currently already developed. But as of now, we have Invest 91C in the Central Pacific that has now been designated. Invest 93W has also been designated in the Gulf of Tonkin. Invest 97L, which is one of the big stories at the moment, that's been talked about everywhere. And I believe on here the Atlantic system is already written as Tropical Depression 9, so it is essentially to be a PTC by the next update, and likely as a depression to become a tropical storm near Grand Cayman, but we will focus on that one slightly later. And we have Tropical Storm John, which will be the main focus, and we have Invest 91W, which is a bit fizzled out, Invest 92W, and we've had very unusual but two Black Sea storms that have formed. The second, I have two images put up. Here's the visible loop of the first Black Sea storm that formed at September 21st, and we've had one also today that formed. Right, so this is our main discussion. So Tropical Storm John, which is a tropical storm by NHC, but by my analysis update, is now Hurricane John, and this is the statistics I have on it right now. And clearly, as we can see, the vortex has consolidated very well in the recent frames. There has been some signs of an eye developing in the recent frames, including the eye wall structure starting to develop further, and we have clear banding around this structure. Not much in terms of shear. We can't really see any cumulus or cirrus field anywhere moving around that is suggesting of some significant shear in any region. There is a little bit of an influence by another invest that is being designated. It's not been designated yet, but could be designated in the future. That might play a little bit of a role in influencing John, but not much at all, because John is a much more developed system. So currently we have a very large CBs at the centre of a John, around minus 80 to minus 80s around the western side, and the eastern side is yet to be consolidated further. And we see on recent visible frames you can start to see a little bit of an eye forming, and a very healthy western side with a little bit of a less developed southern side and a slightly more developing northeastern side of the circulation. And if we just play through the loop, you can clearly see there's good ventilation and outflow aloft now in the system, and it is pretty much vertically stacked at this point. As we can see, the mid-level axis that is going around the system, it is also paired right along with the center of the low-level circulation also, and so there's a pretty tight circulations forming with John, so you could expect to develop pretty quickly as it moves fairly slowly at around 4 miles per hour to the northeast. Right, so this is some of the this is the 89 gigahertz microwave imagery that was earlier, about 2 hours earlier. So it gives a good sign of what the system was like and is continuing to follow. And you clearly see there's an area of warm clouds. There's basically no microwave reflectivity in the center, which is suggesting an eye formation with a very well developed thick western eye wall here. And we see clearly that there's a good banding structure already developing, and the CCC is going away now with more of a CDO type, which can be seen here. Alright, so we can clearly see that we have here by Dvorak's going a little bit on the higher end already, going around 84 about 80 to 85 miles per hour already, which is, as you can clearly see, but depicting of where it's already at, and it's going for a PMW adjusted scene ADT scene type currently, and this will continue on and will follow also CDO type scene type soon, and pretty quickly should come to an I scene type around this period, as well as it essentially develops that eye that's already present on satellite. We can clearly see that the vortex pretty much vertically stacked already has achieved that. If you look at the R64, where the strongest wind field is, it's pretty much all in a symmetrical tight wind field around 25 nautical miles, and then tropical storm wind field extending around 55 miles per hour in most quadrants. And generally this tight structure is to persist all the way through until landfall. Now currently of the latest NHC update is expecting the system to peak at around 105 miles per hour, and currently is suggesting it should be a hurricane within the next few hours. I already have done my update, but they expect the landfall region around San Jose del Progreso and Rio Grande or Piedra Parada, which is pretty much on track with the same landfall location as I expected. It has been a slight westward shift from around Puerto Escondido, now a bit westwards, but still the general rain impact, wind impact, storm surge, inland tornadoes should persist the same. Alright, so this is some of the high resolution guidance that is already looking at this. This is the H-Wolf, and it's kind of, it's not really seeing the development also quickly. It's kind of all over the place with its forecasting, and currently it's kind of suggesting another little area of low pressure to form around near its northern quadrant. So some of these models are not quite there yet. House A is yet to be clear slightly also on its forecast. I'm not quite clear with what it's implying either yet. The GFS currently is suggesting a weakening of the system before landfall, but that is yet to differ from the NHC, which is suggesting an increase in intensity towards landfall. So we have to wait and watch. Right, I just want to add, I wanted to just cover this. I did forget to mention this, but the fact that the really favourable conditions that John is in really is a bit of a concern about rapid intensification rates, which already suggest to be pretty high, as it has already intensified quite a lot. Already by my analysis, has already intensified 45 miles per hour in the last 24 hours. So basing off this, if it's undergoing rapid intensification of a moderate to high deep ocean heat content values around 100 joules per kilogram, and we're gonna see it to persist all the way towards landfall with little fluctuation, and the mid shear and the deep shear values to be fairly low on all the way throughout its landfall, all relegated to the southern, much further south away from the system. It is likely that the system could intensify much further than the forecast of the NHC, but that is still yet to be seen, obviously, because rapid intensification is hard to forecast in the future long-term range. My overall bubble for the system would be around from 75 miles per hour all the way up to about 125, 130 miles per hour, just because of the rapid intensification. But do not take these numbers seriously. I'm just putting this as a average range, and my numbers are sitting in the lower end yet with the NHC, and we'll continue to update tomorrow and see how this differs. Right, I did want to do just a bit of a quick mention with the tropical depression 9 inverse 97L, but I just wanted to mention about the current state of the system. So it's currently in very favourable conditions. In fact, currently sitting in sea surface temperatures around 30, 31 and soon to be even 32 degrees Celsius. It should persist in very favourable sea surface temperatures, and it's currently sitting with pretty significant values for convergence, low level convergence, upper level divergence and diffluence, and with relatively low, sorry for the graphics, relatively low mid shear values and somewhat slightly higher deep shear values. You can clearly see around east northeasterlies, and you can see about west southwesterlies around here. So clearly the center of circulation is around here. I don't have any Archer or specific details on the current area of the low pressure, but this is just what I have currently of. And the vorticity max suggesting it's somewhere around here at around 81.5 degrees west and about 17 degrees north is where the low pressure is. Could be slightly north and west currently, as this is slightly outdated by just a few hours. Just to look on imagery loop, we can clearly see that the system is very east side loaded currently, with yet to develop any sort of western CBs that wrap around the circulation and any sort of banding features, and also is still partially exposed as despite potentially being designated as a PTC, but this should change in the future forecast. I don't really want to go into the details of the high resolution guidances, as you've probably been aware that the system on most model guidances is pretty much extremely high, and is probably much higher than what the NHC is forecasting. There's been a lot of superstorm outputs. This one's suggesting pretty much a superstorm as well, down to a 926, probably around mid-range, high range, category 4. So with this, I'm gonna have to wait for tomorrow for a better detailed analysis with when it starts to develop a much tighter low-level circulation and with a better forecast track of the system. Although I would like to just put the icon into use, because the icon has been very, very successful this year for a lot of systems, especially in the Atlantic for the tracks, not really the intensity, but just for the tracks. I'd like to just gain a visual for what it's showing. So as of this update, the 12Z is still coming out, but of the 6Z, it has suggested around the Big Bend region near where Adalia struck, and there's not been much deviations in the icon track. The 0Z did suggest somewhere further south, but has generally persisted in the Big Bend region, and the latest run is suggesting a northeasterly movement, probably likely in the same region as well. So I don't have enough information on this system yet, but I will update on tomorrow for this system. Alright, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you guys next update.